So my dad drove Riley and I down to Georgia to help us get started on our hike so we wouldn't have to worry about renting a car or getting a shuttle to the trailhead. We had a nice drive down, and the next morning when we were ready to get it started, he took pictures here with Riley in front of the famous arches just outside the visitor center.
So my dad just left, and Riley is distraught that my dad has left. So he's watching him, or he's already gone, but he's looking in the direction that he left. And it'll just take a minute for him to get ready. Riley, are you ready? Let's go. Let's go. Approach trail. Come on, buddy. Come on, Riley. Let's go. All right. Here we go. So, this feels good. This feels feels good to get started. We drove down to Georgia yesterday on Wednesday. Riley, come on. Trail's over here. Riley, come on, buddy. Yeah, so we drove down to Georgia yesterday and took pretty much the entire day to get down here. And we got into the park a little after 10 o'clock last night and just kind of slept in the car, and then got up this morning bright and early. The visitor center opened at 8 a.m. and I was able to go in and register my hike and get my hang tag. And my hang tag, they gave me a number for the specific number of the number that corresponds to how many northbound thru hikers have come in before me. And I don't remember the number offhand, but it's like about 2,600 or so. And they gave Riley a hang tag as well without a number, but it was nice that they gave a hang tag for Riley. So Riley actually can see my dad now. He can see the car just ready to drive away, and he's whimpering here. He knows my dad is leaving, and he really doesn't like that. So that's my dad driving away there. Riley will settle down shortly, but Riley just he has a fear of being left alone, and so that's what he's concerned about now. So apparently the official approach trail is actually closed. Well, not the entire approach trail, but the part of the trail going that goes up the Immaquahla Falls. That part is closed due to renovation work. And apparently they had a tree fall down last week on another part of the early approach trail. So the way to get to Springer Mountain is to take this East Ridge Trail for the very first part out of the visitor center, and then connect up with the approach trail later on after the Immaquahla Falls part. So I think that's just like the first couple miles. And yeah, so we are on our way. Feels good to be on our way. I was telling my dad earlier that this feels like very reminiscent of the first day of school feeling, where you have kind of like a lot of unknowns, a lot of uncertainties, and just getting started with something new. So I'm gonna put the camera away. We're gonna do a little hiking and I'll check back in later. So we are currently on what's called the East Ridge Trail in So we're currently on the East Ridge Trail. This is a detour from the approach trail because the early part of the approach trail is closed due to renovations that I think were started last year and were expected to be completed by April 1st, but apparently they've been delayed and they're still not completed. So this is the East Ridge Trail, and I believe it's going to let us out into a Forest Service road in a little bit. And then we just follow that a little ways, and then we'll be able to reconnect with the approach trail above the waterfalls. Riley, let's go this way. Riley seems to be enjoying the trail so far. It's warming up. It was a little chilly, not cold this morning, but I think it was in the low 60s, and the sun is now rising, and I can definitely feel it warming up. It's probably in the 70s now, and especially as we're starting to hike, it's raising our body temperatures, and I can already feel that I'm breathing a little bit harder than normal, even though I just started. That feels good. Riley is tugging at the leash here. I have the leash strapped into my waist belt, so I don't have to always hold on to it. I can always hold on to it just to get a little more control over him if I need to. All right, so I believe we've made it to the top of the East Ridge Trail now, and we have been spat out into this Forest Service road. I would estimate the East Ridge Trail that we hiked so far is maybe a mile or so, not very far, but it's all uphill. But it's really comfortable trail. It's not terribly rocky at all. It's got a pretty wide path and nice soft soil under your feet. And now, Riley, you ready? This way, buddy. So what was explained to me in the visitor center earlier is that we just need to follow this Forest Service road up this way, and eventually it's going to connect up with the Blue Blazed Approach Trail, which we can follow all the way to Springer Mountain. So Riley is taking a grass break here. My thoughts on doing this hike here with Riley is that when he wants to go, I'll go with him, and whenever he wants to take a break, I am gonna be perfectly happy to let him take as long of a break as he wants. I just want him to be happy out here, and don't want to wear him out at all. So there will probably be times where I kind of force him to take a break if I feel it's necessary, but in addition to that, whenever he wants to slow down, we can take a break. So we're still on the Forest Service road, just making our way up, and we just walked into our first kind of opening, first nice view here. Pretty exciting, and we're going to continue up in that direction. And Riley is in no hurry. He's just enjoying being out here, not worried about hiking 2,000 miles, just taking it, just living in the present, which is awesome. All right, starting to film again here because it looks like we're getting to the next milestone, in that the milestones come very quickly at the start of the trail. So it looks like we're getting to the end of the Forest Service road. I can see this structure up here, So I think this means we're coming to the end of it, which means we're going to be most likely picking up the connection with the approach trail. Riley just saw a chipmunk, which he was kind of lunging towards there, and it just scampered up the mountain. And yeah, it looks like this is leading to a parking area, and we should be coming to the connection with the approach trail soon. Riley, how you doing, man? So there's another hiker behind us that we met as we were leaving the visitor center. His trail name is Buggy, and we were hiking a little bit together and chatting for a little while, and now we're kind of hiking at our own pace. But Riley knows he's back there, and so he's kind of, right now he's waiting for him. He doesn't want to continue, since he knows that Buggy is, I don't know if you can see him in the shot, but I can see him, and Riley just wants to wait for him here. So, all right, so second milestone is almost in the books here, and we'll check in again later. So this is the parking area here, and this is actually the parking area where my dad and I and Riley slept last night. We just parked our car right over there. Little did I know I would be, that the Forest Servicer that we would walk up would just spit us out right at the end of the parking lot. And now we're walking up here. Here's the Blue Blaze, and we're officially on the AT approach trail now. Very good. All right, I like passing these signs. So now we're coming to a divergent point where the right trail goes up to the inn. It's called the Len Foot Hike Inn, INN, like a hotel. And we're taking the left trail, which continues on to continues on the approach trail. So the last sign, not the one I just showed, but a recent sign said we're 7.5 miles away from Springer Mountain. So we're gradually getting there. We've done I think the total approach trail is 8.5 miles. So that means we've done a mile. Riley is still checking back every so often to look for Buggy. Feels so good to be to have the heart rate going on it's not going super fast, but it's definitely elevated compared to when I'm not exercising. And I really like the feeling. It just makes me feel alive. Not that I don't feel alive when I don't have my heart rate elevated, but it just gives me a feeling of excitement and helps to make me feel happy. It's a beautiful day. Not windy at all, just very still air. The trail is still very, very easy to hike, as expected, since it's the early part of the approach trail. I'm sure it'll get more challenging quickly. So, but yeah, so far my legs feel good, my knees feel good, my pack, I weighed it back at the visitor center, which you're supposed to do, and they just give you a little scale that you hold in your hand, and then you just attach it to your pack. And when I weighed it at home, it came out at 30 pounds exactly, and then when I weighed it here, it came out at 30.86 pounds. Not totally sure, what I added to it to cause it to weigh a little heavier. And that was without any water in my water bottles, but with all of my food that I have. So this is our first water crossing. Nice little footbridge to cross. And Riley's like, let's not get too far because Buggy is behind us. We don't want to leave him. All right, we are back. Riley and I here. I got my hoodie on just because it's a very sunny day and helps protect my head from the sun. And day's going well so far. So I haven't been checking the mileage. I haven't really been checking my guidebook or my Far Out app or looking at the time. Just been enjoying the hike so far. We're still on the approach trail, and we are, all I know is we're getting close to Springer Mountain. I would estimate we might be maybe halfway there. But yeah, it's turned into a warm day. So we've taken several breaks so far. Filled up on water, and the other hiker I mentioned previously, I mispronounced his trail name. It's not Buggy, it's Boogie with an O instead of a U. And Riley, he's a little behind us right now, but Riley has pretty much the whole day been kind of turning around and waiting for him if we get too far ahead, and then he'll catch up. And we've taken several breaks together and had some conversation while we're hiking, so that's helped the miles go by without really thinking about it too hard. And we saw another pair of hikers who are also through hiking. Didn't get their trail names, but they are also taking frequent breaks since this is the first day. So everyone's just getting acclimated to the trail. But yeah, I'm pleased so far with how things are going. It's this is a nice campground here. Let me walk out into it. We've passed several campgrounds so far. Just nice open areas with flat ground that you can easily pitch a tent. And like I said before, things are feeling good. So my knees are feeling good, my legs are feeling good, my pack weight feels good. Doesn't feel too heavy on my back. And Riley seems to be enjoying things. He's hiking fine, and just like he's definitely breathing hard because he's working hard. But we're taking breaks whenever he needs to, and keeping him hydrated. So I think actually that is the rest of the campsite, and the approach trail continues this way. All right, so we have made it to the first shelter of the trail. It's actually the second shelter of the trail. There's a shelter called Max Epperson's shelter, literally 0.1 miles after the visitor center. And we are currently at Black Gap Shelter. So it's still on the approach trail. It's I believe it's mile 7.3 on the approach trail. And we still have another 1.5 miles uphill to get to Springer Mountain. But I've decided to spend the night here. And feels good to rest my legs. I'm pleased with how the first day went. It's just great to get back to hiking, and glad that nothing bad happened on the first day. And Riley did very well. He Yeah, he was hiking very actively, and we took several breaks, but he did very well. And this is Boogie here. Hey, Boogie.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah. So I met Boogie like at the visitor center, and we've kind of been hiking all day together, back and forth. Usually Boogie was behind me a little bit, and I'd be a little bit in front, and Riley would often just look back and would kind of refuse to go forward until Boogie got to within some distance that he considered acceptable, and then Riley would turn and continue to hike forward. So
he basically was pushing me. That's how I felt. Like hey, come on, and pacing with me to keep me going.
yes,
Yeah, that's how I felt.
very good. So you're from? I know I asked you this before. You're from
Illinois.
yeah.
Illinois, yeah.
And what's your motivation or reason for hiking the trail?
Hiking the trail. Trying to find something in myself, push myself to see what all I can do. You know.
Of course. It's a great challenge. Yeah. Great opportunity to push yourself and have fun at the same time.
Yes.
And yeah, there's all these bugs around
Oh,
here.
they're killing me right now.
Oh man, feel free to put your bug net on
yeah,
if you
I'm gonna
want.
put that
It's
back
fine. Very good. Much more. The comfort is the most important thing.
Oh man.
And so, how would you describe your first day on trail? Are you happy with or concerned about anything?
No, no concerns about nothing. Everything was expected, but it's hard. It was hard though. It wasn't easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And yeah, so one thing I should mention is or I think I mentioned it before, but the steps that are well known that go up Immaquilova Falls are closed due to construction. And so we had to take a detour around the falls. And so we actually didn't even see the falls. But there was still plenty of elevation to, like, especially once you got past the very first East Ridge Trail and into the wilderness. There's plenty of elevation gain, and it was a hot day too. Like it started out cool, but the sun was beating down. I mean, it's good that we're underneath the trees to keep it somewhat cooler.
Yeah, it definitely was hot. It was definitely a hot day today. But pushed through. Riley got me through it, waiting up on me, pacing with me, and of course you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it was expected that I was gonna have noodle legs when I was done, but
Noodle legs.
Yes. You know, they ain't gonna act the way you want them to, but take them a couple weeks. But I should get them trail legs in.
Of course.
So you hiking that trail for the third time, right?
Yeah, this is my third time like doing a serious hike on the trail. So the first time I did it in 2017, and I just did it because it was something I wanted to do, but I just wanted to get experience. So I hiked about a third of the trail up to Glasgow, Virginia, and then the following year, in 2018, I was motivated to do the whole thing, and so I was able to do that. And then since then, I've done a few other hikes, but I've just kind of fit them into gaps of availability that I had, like summers, but I haven't taken on something of the endeavor of like an AT thru hike. And I got Riley in 2020.
Okay.
He was a year old when I got him, and when I first got him, I knew that I wanted to get a dog that I knew would do well on a hike, because I expected that I would want to go on a hike with the dog.
Okay.
And since I got him, I've just been focused on I mean, I've been focused on taking care of Riley, but I prioritized going to my schooling, continuing with the educational path I was already involved in, and that kind of left no time to do a serious hike like this. So within the past few months, I just decided to shift my priorities and make time to do the hike, especially because Riley's 5 years old now, and he doesn't have an infinite amount of time to wait for me to be ready to do the hike. So it's something that I wanted to do, and I feel like he's going to enjoy it, and we just need to do it in a good way where we both get enough rest and we're not pushing ourselves to where it's not enjoyable. But that's the case for everybody. Yeah.
Even for me, because I mean, he was hiking better than me, you know, but he was stopping weight on me, and we all took rests plenty times.
Sure.
I felt very comfortable hiking with you. Very comfortable. You and Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice, man. Especially for somebody that I just came out on the whim. You know, I had my people drop me off, but like I had to resubmit my registration because I didn't have the number. It was on my email at home.
Yes. The registration with the Appalachian Trail Conservancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to walk down and find out that the steps was closed. Then I walked all the way back. That's when I met you. And you was like, "Didn't you just take off?" And I was like, "Yeah, got lost, and I ain't even been out there 5 minutes." And then then we started hiking together, and everything's been smooth ever since.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
man. It's great.
And I think it's good to start slow. Not necessarily start slow, but start at a pace that's a little bit slower than what you maybe expected of yourself. Right. Just because there's plenty of time to speed up as you get more comfortable later on. And then like it would be a shame to push yourself harder than you can handle and get injured where it would derail the rest of the hike that you want to have. So
that would stink.
And there were only 2 water sources that we passed. There was one that we were able to fill up at the last one, just like a couple tenths of a mile down the trail.
Yep. And then you gave somebody some water. That you gave the older man some water, which was nice of you. Took all your water. He dumped the whole thing into the jar.
He actually left a very little bit in my Sawyer's in my smart water bottle.
Oh, okay. That ain't bad. It was just funny though. It's funny.
Sure.
Filled up 2 water bottles and gave you back your one.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be super far till we got to the next water source. It wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny and nice of you to do that. He looked like he was beat a little bit, like he was feeling like me. You know what I mean? Didn't he look like that a little bit?
Well, he was sitting down at the road, and it looked like the first question he asked us was, "Do you know where there's water?"
Yeah, like he was thirsty.
And so, we're out here to support each other as hikers, and
that's right.
There's if you're able to lend someone something, and it's not a big problem for you, and that's great to be able to do that. So
that's the hiker's way.
So we're just gonna get a good night's sleep tonight and get some dinner hopefully, and then do it again tomorrow. So it feels like the first day of school.
Yeah.
Where you have uncertainties about what it's going to be like, and then you actually go and you start learning what it's like. I had experience since I've been on the trail before about what it's like, but this is still a new experience with my dog, and
Yeah.
I'm not. I haven't been in hiking shape recently, so
Okay.
I still have to get my trail legs
Okay.
like I had to do on the other hikes.
Yeah, because you're moving pretty good out there. Like you was.
Thank you.
Look up like, man, he gone already. If it wasn't for Riley, I'd have just been pulling up at nighttime to catch you here and like, hey, what's up, man?
Okay.
But yeah, that was
Cool.
pretty good shape.
So Riley is. Oh, Riley, you heard your name. So we're gonna let you get a good night's sleep tonight, Riley. And we will check back in tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we should be getting to Springer Mountain. Exciting. And we can sign the logbook and then start making actual AT miles. Cool.
Actual AT, yeah. Because this is not it's just shy of the AT, right?
Yes. I mean, we've started the hike. Like it's really all one continuous hike, but
Yeah.
officially we're 1.5 miles short of mile 0
Yeah.
on the AT. All right.